Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this LinkedIn live session on building trust, how leaders can build confidence in AI super agents, where we gather to explore one of the most transformative forces shaping the future of work, the rise of AI powered super agents. My name is Varun Jain, and I am your host for today's discussion. As technology continues to evolve at a breakneck pace, leaders and organizations face both unprecedented opportunities and unique challenges. Today, our focus is on how NextGen AI super agents are revolutionizing the workplace, breaking down barriers, and enabling a seamless, unified employee experience across HR, IT, finance, and beyond. In an era defined by complexity and constant change, the ability to simplify workflows, accelerate decision making, and empower employees has never been more critical. AI super agents are not just tools for efficiency, they are catalysts for a new way of working, freeing people to focus on creative, strategic, and human centered tasks, while intelligent systems handle the repetitive and routine. But with this power comes an essential task of building trust in the technology, trust in the processes, and most importantly, trust among the people who will interact with these AI teammates every day. Our distinguished panelists bring deep expertise for both HR and technology domains, offering unique insights into the real world impact of super agents and actionable strategies for leaders preparing for the new paradigm. Together, we will unpack the promise, the pitfalls, and the practical steps organizations can take to harness the full potential of AI super agents while keeping people at the heart of innovation. With that, let me introduce you to our esteemed guest before we dive into the discussion. Please welcome Chetana Patnaik, Chief Human Resources Officer at LTI Mindtree. As the CHRO of LTI Mindtree, a global technology consulting and digital solutions company, Chetana oversees and drives all strategic HR initiatives to develop a robust organizational culture, strengthen the leadership pipeline, and enhance talent management and employer branding. She has led key projects, including serving as the HR representative during the acquisition of Mindtree, where Chetna was instrumental in establishing the initial leadership team. Chetna is dedicated to fostering an inclusive workplace culture and advocating continuous learning by prioritizing diversity and organizational development. Thank you very much, Chetna, for joining us today for this very important discussion.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure. And next up is Vikrant Khanna, Vice President and Lead Strategic Pursuits, APMEA at Darwinbox. Vikrant brings over 2 decades of experience guiding organizations through the evolving landscape of HR and people strategy. Much like a Sherpa, Vikrant excels at helping businesses navigate and complexities of today's HR environment. His expertise span long-term HR strategy, building adaptable operating models, implementing shared services and outsourcing frameworks, and leading large-scale SCM SaaS deployments. Vikrant has played a pivotal role as an advisor, research leader, and business builder, always underscoring his conviction that HR is central to driving business success. His passion for designing effective, future-ready people functions make him an invaluable voice within the industry. Thank you very much, Vikrant, for joining us today.
Thanks, Varun. Pleasure to be with you, Chetna, and welcome everyone to this session.
Thank you. So, all right, now we'll get right into the discussion. And let me start by asking this question to Chetna. Chetna, can you help us understand, our audience understand, how has LTI Mindtree moved from being curious about AI to using it within its HR function? Any example, any best practices that helped you to implement this would be really helpful. Over to you, Chetna.
Once again, thank you for having me, and it's great to be here with all of you and talk about something that's very close to my heart. How AI is actually showing up in the function of HR beyond the hype. So let me start with how we moved from being curious, as you asked me the question about AI, to actually, kind of using and adopting in the HR function at LTI Mindtree. So at LTI Mindtree, in HR specifically, we didn't want AI, as I said, just to become a buzzword. We wanted to, kind of get our hands wet into it. And somewhere in mid 2024, we launched our journey called Reimagining HR in LTA Mindtree. And the idea was very simple, that how do we kind of embed AI across the entire employee life cycle journey from hire to retire. And there we started the journey. One of our first outcome was Rima, our super agent, AI companion for employees. Today, I'm very proud to tell that Rima helps people get instant answers to the HR queries on policies, processes, leave, attendance, and there are many other transactional processes. Things that earlier used to take time and run back and forth are available on fingertips. At the same time, we introduced a various AI-led tool in talent acquisition, talent function, in performance management system, in goal setting, personalized onboarding, HR services support, and even our alumni portal, all within a period of last 1 year. What really helped us move fast was our Blueverse AI ecosystem at LTM Mindtree, and and there is a great collaboration with technology and HR function. And I mean, all these are possible while we are the functional expert, but there is a set of technologists who supports to make this and give it a real life. So it's a library. Bluewords is a library of our pre-built AI agents and a no-code builder. That means we didn't have to start from scratch every time. We could experiment, learn quickly, and scale what worked. And that's what is the journey, as I mentioned. And we are still exploring. We are still looking at the early signs of outcomes, and we are. We have a great spirit to make it more successful in the journey.
Sure, Chetna. And again, for everyone, AI is still an evolving space, and people are still experimenting, trying to understand what else we can do. Vikrant, as we spoke about technologists as well, you come from the other side of the business. I wanted to understand and make our audience understand as well that when we talk about AI super agents, there has been talks that they are bringing together processes across HR, IT, and finance. But in your experience, from your vantage point, could you share some examples where this integration has helped organizations reduce silos and improve efficiencies?
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for the question and the insights, Chetna. So, Varun, one of the things that we're seeing across customers is that their focus on, while we're seeing customers react to how AI is also advancing, we're seeing the customers that are the most ready are the ones which are really pushing the boundaries of adopting agency in AI, right? So we like to think of it across 5 levels. So if we take the entire spectrum of AI, we're seeing 5 types of use cases or categorizations come to life, right? And I'll go with the bottommost layer, right? At the bottommost layer, organizations are using it for content and creativity, like many of us are. I'm sure everyone's used Nano Banana, Chat GPT, Grok, whatnot for creative purposes. So, be it across communications, be it across thinking through some creatives which you can use. That's one layer where we're seeing a lot of AI being used. That's really the base. Now, building on top of that, we're seeing usage come across on operational efficiencies. So organizations using it to, refine their job descriptions, their job postings, uh, thinking of summarizing any feedback that is being given to employees, going through a lot of feedback and summarizing it so that the effect of recency is gone. That's the second use case where organizations are using it really for efficiency. Then comes the next level where it is being used for employee experience. And this is where we start to see the agency uh, come into play, right? Today, for example, if you think of the Darwin Box Super Agent, with our model context protocol, it can seamlessly connect through all of your enterprise architecture and give you responses in the context of who an employee is, what accesses does he have, and according to the role that he or she is playing. One of the biggest impact that we're seeing over there is that it is significantly reducing the searchability time or the findability time for information, and any reduction which happens on employee queries is time given back to managers as well as the HR team to focus on what matters the most, which is relationship building and strategic thinking. The other two layers get even more interesting, where agents today are orchestrating results, right? So think of uh, a succession agent speaking with a recruiting agent and orchestrating the fact on where are the talent gaps, what are the areas where you lag on critical talent pool, either in the hiring pipeline or on your succession pool, and prompting you to take certain actions. That becomes the level of talent intelligence. And of course, the pinnacle is using this agency for business intelligence. We are seeing quite a few use cases even over there on customers, where customers in the retail sector are trying to query and build use cases on how can they increase sales per square foot, or in project based organizations, how can you improve staffing efficiencies, and what are the skills deficit which are running across projects. So it's really a wide spectrum. Organizations which have been far more ready are more on the right side of the spectrum, which is what we see in the marketplace today.
Thanks for those insights, Vikrant. And whenever we talk about AI, there's a lot of pushback coming from the employerly level workforce as well. There have been challenges within the organizations, in adopting a lot of AI within their systems. So, Chetna, I would want to understand from you. You are such a big employer. When we spoke about your AI journey, and you have been constantly working on it to improving its efficiency within the system, what kind of challenges you came across as a talent leader, maybe on the trust part of it, maybe people thinking about losing away their jobs? What were the challenges? And second, as a leader, how have you remained calm and composed your workforce and saying that AI is here to help you and not to replace you? I want to understand from you, Chetna.
So I will limit this to the function of HR at this moment, as we started the conversation in that. So I would say that we are a technology first company, right? And any new technology is something which is very exciting for the people to experiment and kind of learn, experiment and all. So in the function, introducing AI to the HR team was, I mean, honestly, was not a challenge. Rather, was an exciting journey for them, because they also felt that the one was that there was an eagerness to learn, and a big reason for that was is our culture. That we, as I mentioned to you, that there is always and culture is always tossed flows from the top, from our CEO to the across the pyramid. Being a technology company, we all talk about that. How is it going to help make us more efficient, and our efficacy will grow in the system. So therefore, in as I mentioned to you, it was a welcoming journey for the HR team when they felt that there is something which is a RIMA, which is super agent in HR, when other functions are not there. So that's the excitement. Um, but I think a great responsibility of the leaders also, that how do you kind of communicate, how do you kind of position it in the function in the organization. So I mean, of course, there were some inherent, while there is an excitement to learn, excitement to be a part of it, but there was some inherent concerns, kind of thoughts that, what does this mean for my role? Is my, if I'm in more of transaction handling, that is that my role is going to take over? Am I ready for this learning, and how do I get more learning through this? And do I need to have more or different skill set? How will this fit into my aspirations? What more organization will do for me? Am I going to am I be selected in those when the organization is going to give learning? I think these are some of those questions which were there. But as a leader, if you kind of ensure to create that psychological safety, making communication transparent, involving people with the right purpose, that what does it mean for the organization, what does it mean for the industry, how the industry is changing, geopolitical changes, and how what this technology is all about, and how is it going to help you to become more efficient. I think these are some of those things which helped in this journey. And of course, inherent is that, structured communication through change management, helping them with the design thinking process. We did a design thinking workshop within HR. Any piece, as I said, that we had we looked at the hire to retire life cycle. So every piece we did a design thinking workshop, involved people from the function as well as from the technologists who are supporting us in this journey. So and that came out as a beautiful piece of work. And I think today the team is excited when they see that they have been recognized, they have been valued, they have been having conversation, and they are winning at the places, at various places. I think that's a beautiful journey we are in. More to do, I can only tell you that much. It's just a
Sure,
journey,
and
more to do.
and very aptly put, Chetna. Leadership plays a very important role now more than ever. It has to come from the top and then help people to ease out in their role and provide that psychological safety. So, thank you for those insights. And Vikrant, you talk to a lot of organizations who are in the different phases of AI adoption journey. You know, what kind of challenges do you see from your point of view that organizations are facing right now? And as a technology provider, I want to understand what key considerations you think AI-driven workflows remain compliant when you're pitching them to the organizations. Your
Yeah.
views on that?
So I'll tackle it in two parts, right? One is building on what Chetna mentioned, right? AI is there, and the sooner organizations accept it, it's better, and which is where leadership plays a very important role. We're seeing it in several of the organizations that the collaboration. I like to think of it as the golden age of employee experience, where for the first time, by a force, HR and IT are coming together proactively to address the possibilities and the art of possible that AI can deliver for the organization. And just like Chetna mentioned, getting into design thinking sessions is the best way. I'd like to break it down on how successful organizations are really driving it. uh, I don't want to go into that view of, there is a continuum of strategic, operational, and transactional work in HR. I'd like to think of it as there is a handwork, there is a head work, and then you have the real purpose of the job. You can call it the heart, uh, the hardware of every job, right? So as you communicate to people that the hands work, which is where we're seeing AI do a lot of heavy lifting right now, and bringing multiple heads together, be it combining data from different systems or from different parts of the same function. Those are the areas which are really giving purpose to each and every job. So it's freeing up time, and that narrative of AI for efficiency, AI for effectiveness is the right narrative to really go after. Will AI replace? Well, the jury is still out. We're seeing a lot of efficiency and effectiveness gains. And the other important thing to note is that jobs are changing, right? I can take my example, and which brings me to my second point, which I'm also seeing organizations struggle with a lot, is the fact that, if I turn back the clock when I started working, laptops were a big thing. Oh, I can work from home, I can work from anywhere. Then subsequently came the power of internet, right? I can be on the move and deliver. Then came mobile, right? But now, ever since 30th of November 2022, since Chat GPT was introduced, we're living through change. The other struggle which I see, and this is my provocation to everyone listening, is change does not need to be managed. We've got to fundamentally accept that, we've got to love change. And I'll tell you the impact of that, right? Every 3 months, or sometimes even lower than that, there is a new model which disrupts. And that disruption means that you've got to be really ready for, one can use the word changeability. You've got to be ready to accept changes and move on. So I challenge clients, who say that, we have change fatigue, or there's a lot of change management to be done. It's a mindset shift. And that's one piece where there is a lot of focus that we're putting in, because that helps drive adoption a lot. Yes, things will change, and they're changing faster. It's a cliche, but it's we're living it right now. So those two things are very important.
Vikrant, help me understand one thing. You spoke about we cannot manage change. Uh, there's a lot of change fatigue when you talk to organizations. They come up with this. But let me, in your experience, you talk to so many people, you talk to so many organizations. What is the mindset right now? I'm sure that AI maturity would differ from organizations. Some would be very high on the adoption level. But if you have to take a ballpark thing, how do you see people? Is Are we doing enough? Are we working on that change mindset shift that you spoke about? Is that there, or you think we still are a long way to go, and we need to keep on communicating to the leaders that change is something that you cannot fight with?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Chetna. Okay, now you're putting me on the spot, Varun. I think there's a long way to go. I can take the example of simple SaaS deployments, which is bread and butter for an organization like ours. Um, Change management is still, here's a toolkit, start using it. But there is much more which needs to be done. And the example that Chetna took, that I think is a very foundational piece of how you drive change and how you create that mindset. Change doesn't start from, here's a training, start using this toolkit. Change starts from, why are we doing the change, explaining people what will this mean for them, then designing any process around the people and how will people experience it. And then comes the tool set. So the initial parts are the ones which I feel are significantly missing across several of the organizations that I speak with. And which is where I say that, accepting that it becomes almost like a mindset, that you wake up and you're thinking of, okay, what's going to change today, and change is good. So change does not need to be managed. Change needs to be accepted, understood, and you move on with it.
Super. Great insights, Vikrant. Chetna, when you were gone, I just asked Vikrant about how do you look at the mindset shift within the leaders of the organizations about AI? Are they change ready, or are they still contemplating about introducing certain systems within the organization? As a talent leader, Chetna, I would love to understand from you as well on the mindset part for a leader or talent leader who has a long journey, who has been into the forefront for driving change for its employee. How do you look at that mindset shift when you suddenly there's a lot of AI coming into your plate and you have to be AI ready as an organization, drive employee experience as well? How does it impact your mindset? What is your mindset while uh, introducing all those systems to your employees? If you can give me a sense.
So when you have, I mean, I completely agree with what Vikrant said just now about mindset. I think that's something very, very crucial because all of us are human beings. We are not machines. We are not agents, right? So therefore, there is a my head, heart, and hand works, and there is a connection, and there is a heart beats more. And when there is a perceived threat that whether I'm going to get it or I'm going to lose it. Hello,
Yes, Chetna,
hello.
you're audible.
We can hear you.
Yeah. So whether I'm going to get it or I'm going to lose it, right? And therefore, uh, I go back to the same, because of the reason that I belong to a function which which represents people. So I think reiterating the fact that leader play a great role there, and leader create leaders, and leadership should make sure that the next in line to next in line to the last mile of the organization are bought in into the larger purpose of the organization. I think there lies the success. In the function, I'm very proud to tell you that we also brought in a hackathon. Okay, more than 80% of the HR function participated in that. Some 150. I mean, they played with it. Of course, the larger enterprise IT team, we have a great team there, and they helped them to actually kind of play with this co-pilots and all. And 150 AI agents in 2 days time they came up, and that created so much of energy, so much of spirit in the function, that yes, we can do for our function. And out of that, almost 10 of them are already being used in the real life scenarios today. So therefore, I believe that the if you play well with the mindset that that you create that psychological safety, you create that environment for them to be a part of it, create an environment for them to learn, experiment, and also perform. I think then things works, and end of the day, definitely you got to help them in terms of building that skill sets as well. So mindset and skill sets both together will help moving forward. And this is something which is necessity. It's a business agenda. It's not that too good to have, but it is must to have.
And Vikrant, what, according to you, would be the ideal scenario uh, for an organization to accelerate its adoption of technology, especially the HR technology we are talking about? How should leadership go about it? We spoke about a lot of leadership, importance of leadership. Chetna pointed it out beautifully. Now, from your point of view, what should be the ideal case so that we are just running away with the
See, we have a supercar now, right? Many organizations who've done the basic right. They've got a system of records, they've got their systems of engagement in place, and now as they start thinking of adopting AI, it's almost like you have a supercar, but you want to drive it at a speed which is more like a school zone. So you're not maximizing the potential. Some of the things which I've seen work is, I'll take the three E's, right? I think first is enabling, giving people the tools that you have, right? And that's a very big barrier which I see in preventing adoption. Today, if we think of ourselves outside of work, we are all using some form of AI tool, right? It could be for personal use. I recently took a vacation and I used AI to plan that itinerary completely. Right. So one can be, we are all using it outside of the workplace. Why not enable it in the workplace? Which begs the question of the HR IT collaboration so that tools can be trusted and they have the right context. The second really is uh, uh, drive experimentation as much as possible. There are established use cases, particularly, if I go on to content and efficiency, those use cases are very well established. You don't need to experiment over there, but take the experimentation to the level of how can you improve employee experience, giving agents to each and every one in the organization so that they can run their common transactions is not experimentation anymore. It's becoming hygiene. Experimentation comes in when on areas like how can you orchestrate better? Can you cut down really menial transactional time? I can take an example. Scheduling a conversation between a hiring manager and a candidate should not be the job of a recruiter. It can be completely automated. uh, you can have agents over there. So why can't we drive some of those areas and really then move to establish, right? So you enable, You do experimentation above a certain threshold, you establish, and then you repeat that cycle. Because by the time you've hit establish, the game's already changed. So I think that that cyclical view and the upward spiral of this adoption is what organizations need to focus on. That really will be the key to driving adoption. And just to add on over there, this is one of the areas where, if I look at organizations, probably 8 out of 10 organizations, or maybe more, eight maybe me understating it, the agenda of AI adoption squarely is moving to the people function, because the people function and your people platforms are the only two functions and platforms which touch each and every employee in the organization. So that really is becoming key to democratizing the use of AI, if I may say.
Chetna, you heard Vikrant, he said that it lies totally with the people function adoption of AI because you touch everyone within the organization. You also spoke about, experimenting, establishing, uh, enabling people. You agree with that? I want to understand your point of view also on this, on what Vikrant said. Is this the ideal situation or you beg to differ?
I have a different view. I think responsibility and ownership should be with everybody in the organization who are holding a role of a leader or a manager, because one function cannot do it. It's actually the need of the art, need of the business, and it is coming so fast and speed is so high that depending on one function is not going to work. Everybody has to chip in to make sure that the organization at large and scale need to transform in this journey. So that's how I will view it, Vikrant and Varun.
Right, right, Chetna. But on the enabling part, enabling the workforce to experiment with AI, giving them a free hand to understand, to use, to adopt, experiment with it, and then execute something. There are chances that they might falter, but to give them that free hand to, bring in some new energy. Do you think that's the way to go, or we still have to be very cautious? What do you think, Chetna, about that?
I think, the first what you said is going to help organization not to become very cautious about it, because as Vikrant said, also I think the phase of experimentation is already over. I think it is the time and the year to measure outcome, and because board, or for that matter any business leadership, are all looking at productivity. Okay, and therefore while you continue to do the experimentation, but while experimenting you have to perform and you have to focus on the outcome. That is what is the need of the hour, and
Great point.
that's not only for any one function, but for the across organization.
I completely agree here that the responsibility lies with everyone and not just with one function. Vikrant, want your take on that, and then we'll quickly move to the next part of the question.
No, I think, see, it's absolutely right. It lies with the leaders, each and every functions driving it. Where I was alluding to when I said that, we are seeing the people function in the spotlight is because, again, going back like a broken record to change and bringing back that mindset of change, you need to have something as all pervasive, all touching, which is where the people function and people platforms really lie. So that impact is felt across the organization, and that's where we see a lot of spotlight coming on the function as well as people platforms.
Sure. Thanks. And this brings to me a very important question, Vikrant. I want to understand from you, as all organizations across the spectrum, across sectors, irrespective of their size, are continuing to evolve alongside AI. Now, I want to understand what emerging opportunities or challenges are you seeing in the market, and how is technology provider like you are adapting its approach to help your clients navigate these situations? Can you give us some examples over there?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. I think, particularly if we think of an organization like ours, I'm very happy to say that Darwinbox has been really at the forefront of driving AI-led impact on platforms as well as for our clients. I'll link it to one of the questions which was asked by the audience also around ROI of AI. We became the first ever platform to have our own model context protocol, which can drive orchestration across platforms. Uh, then we pushed the boundaries to really being the first to launch our own super agent. And now we are at a stage where, we are absolutely ready for automated workflows as well as for organizations to build agents on Darwinbox, which can be used elsewhere. So that's the natural progression. Everyone will need to evolve to being AI led, and we are trying to lead that curve. The To your other part, where do opportunities still lie? I think there is significant opportunity which is there, which can be used to further embrace adoption by demonstrating ROI. So, what we call as economic value cases, we are helping organizations measure impact across four broad dimensions, right? There's one dimension on how are you creating operational efficiencies. So, are you reducing process cycle times? Are we really reducing the number of data errors that happen? Are we reducing query burden, be it on HR or be it on other functions as part of knowledge management aspects, right? So that's one aspect. The other one is, are we helping drive better, faster decisions, which is where orchestration plays a role. Picture this, a CEO or a CXO wants to know, um, what's my hiring time, why is it taking so long. It should not be a question to someone in another function. You query it and then have a discussion around it. That's more value added. You're using time better, you're taking faster decisions. So that becomes the second pillar. The third pillar is that of employee experience. Manager productivity, for example, has been always a challenge, right? So can we enhance manager productivity? Can we give employees the tools to feel empowered on handling their own data, handling their own queries? The last one is on talent outcomes. That are we able to really reduce cycle times and hiring, for example, or drive better findability of talent, and not just rely on the favorite fews or the critical roles only. And all of this eventually leads to how many productive hours are you giving back to the organization. It's not about headcount reduction, but it's about adding productivity or driving cost avoidance, which is where the true value comes. And therein lies the challenge, right? Because of absence of data, it is difficult to quantify the ROI on AI, but with the right steps, you can really drive that value across those four dimensions: efficiency, better, faster decisions, employee experience, as well as talent outcomes.
Uh, Great detailed insights there, Vikrant. But Chetna, I would want to come to you. In your initial remarks when we spoke about your AI journey, you know, we spoke about how we are trying to manage AI, how as leaders we are explaining our workforce to work with them. But I want to understand from you, because still an evolving space and there are so many technologies coming up every 2 months, 3 months down the line. Are you facing any challenges? As a talent leader, do you think there is certain challenge with AI technologies that should be addressed? That could be a challenge going forward.
I mean, I was just intensely listening to what Vikrant was saying, that it's not here to replace, but it is here to enable you to become effective, right? So the biggest one which you have to connecting back to the mindset, whatever we have been mindset, leadership, communication, tool, availability of tool, experimenting, helping them to perform, and at the same time putting the purpose, that what is there in it for them. So I think the biggest one what leaders need to deal with is that, to create that, and sense of confidence that it's not here to replace humans. Rather it is there to replace transactions, tasks, and not jobs or roles. So the human touch will remain irreplaceable going forward. Today it was there yesterday, it is going to be there today, and it's going to be there ever. So as far as you are able to deal with this myth, that yes, it is not going to kind of take away, or take away the human, but it is going to enable the human to become effective, to become better data driven decision making. So that will help. That's how I would put it. But again, things cannot be fixed overnight. So there is, it will run in parallel. And as human being, as you know that it's something is going to help you, so your acceptability to the fact will be high. But of course, the way technology is evolving, the way we have been dealing function or dealing processes, it's not going to be the same and similar way going forward. So therefore, expectations are different, expectations are fast. You one has to, in the function, one has to deal with more data, with lesser time, more accuracy, with lesser time, and no repeat, and information has to be abundantly available at fingertips. These are, and a changing mindset, being more flexible, being more adaptable, bring in more differentiation in terms of solution. So solution orientation, I think these are some of those things which will help the function to become more effective in this AI era.
And just a follow up there, Chetna, you spoke about adapting to new ways of work, telling people that AI is there to help you. I wanted to understand from you: are people are receiving this information and working towards them, or are they still reluctant in the message what we are trying to give them, that AI is there to help you, you should adapt it and improve your work? Or do you see any kind of hesitation from the workforce in adoption of AI? Just a small answer would help.
So I would, as I said, that I would limit it to the function of talent, because we have been talking about Darwin Berkshire's HR enabled technology tools, and so therefore, I would say that I don't. At least I don't think so. Any kind of resistance in terms of accepting. I think we are the highest co-pilot users in LTA Mindtree, and it so far it is helping us in this journey. That's how I would put it. I don't think so any resistance we are encountering at this moment.
So, Chetna, just last question. If we look at 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, how do you envision the collaboration between AI-powered super agents and humans? What, according to you, would be an ideal situation where everyone is working in tandem in collaboration and delivering great results? What do you think would be the future?
Oh, oh, that's a great question. I think going forward, the scenarios will be different when you have a digital employee or a digital co-worker working next to you. Um, uh, the roles and responsibilities may seem or may be different, but then a machine is a machine, and a human being is a human being. So I think what it requires is that, uh, going forward, higher collaboration and empathy is what will help to at a workplace. And when I say empathy, empathy across not only the similar role holders, but then empathy across the strata in the organization will help to have a healthier workplace culture. That's how I see it.
Vikrant, you would want to comment, share your thoughts on this question?
I think similar thoughts. Human to human interactions will define how we work, because a lot of the transactions will be happening on their own, and it'll be the era of people plus technology collaboration, taking away quite a large part of things which are important but don't render purpose to a job. And we'll see more and more focus coming in on relationship, thinking, human to human interactions. I think that will really define and shape how work will happen. And it will create room, hopefully, for more meaningful impact on what we do.
I would add up to what Vikrant also said, that human will be centered, as he mentioned about relationship, okay, and relationship, and especially in HR, it has to be more constructive, developmental conversation with people in the organization, critical decision making,
Mhm.
impactful conversation about people career,
Mhm.
career planning, growth, that will remain in the function. Whereas when you look at either a digital employee or an agent, will handle all complex, administrative, repetitive, multi-step, repetitive transaction steps, and a human will focus on higher creativity, and as I mentioned earlier about empathy, building a culture, and data-driven decision making. That is how I see that the differentiation between the agent and the employee from a human and machine perspective.
Great perspectives, great insights coming in, and I would have loved to talk more about this discussion. It's such an engaging part. It's such an important discussion that we are having. That would enlighten our talent leaders who have tuned in to listen to us. But we have a couple of questions as we are running out of time as well. So I'll take a couple of audience questions. The first question that we have, and Vikrant has briefly touched upon that during his remarks as well. The question is, how can HR function justify the ROI on AI? Now, that's again a very important question. Uh, any one of you would want to take this up and we can build on it further. It's important. How do you justify the ROI? There's a lot of investments riding on AI. Vikrant, if you want to take that.
So I've given the take, right, four pillars. I can take more and more examples, but really
Okay.
it's anchored on how faster and what's the rate of error reduction, which really comes up into operational efficiencies. Better, faster
Mhm.
decision making, that has a huge impact. It drives a lot of cost avoidance. Then you have
Mhm.
employee experience, where there is empowerment, there is more access to tools, managers are more effective, and then you have better talent outcomes, which is more in terms of either preventing someone from leaving the organization, hiring people faster, uh, finding the right talent at the right time for the right job. Eventually,
Mhm.
it boils down to how many productive hours are you adding to the organization.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that vary significantly. Prior to my current role, I used to run the entire value management team. And we're seeing anywhere between a 1.8 to 2.5% productivity unlock on organizations when such things are deployed well. And that, let me mind you, is a significant productivity unlock, because if you think of an organization, uh, the size of 10,000 people, that's significant number of hours being added. Now it depends really on how you want to quantify it. You can quantify it as that those number of hours added give me better EBITDA per FTE, or you can take it to the other extent and really link it with, should I have these many hours, I'm really advancing productivity and driving better sales per FTE or revenues per FTE. So it's really important to link the gain of productivity which you're having to a business outcome, and then continuously measure it. That really becomes important as per me.
True.
Right. Yeah, Chetana, I want to share your perspective over there uh, on the ROI part. If not, we can move to the next
I
question.
think
Yeah.
he was explicitly. I think Vikrant is explicitly clear on that part in the four segments as he explained. But what I would put it across is that more impactful work with less. Either less is not only the head count, but less is on time, on no repetitive work, and expansion of your bandwidth. I think those are the things which will help in addition to what Vikrant has said.
Great. And we have this very important question from our audience. They're asking, how do you define trust in AI agents within an organization, whether it's accuracy, transparency, or accountability? Now, whenever we talk about AI super agents, trust is one thing that comes up again and again. So I would want to perspectives of both the leaders here on how do they define trust in AI super agents. Anyone can take this first.
You want to pick up Vikrant?
Yeah,
Darwin box agent.
I'll take that. I like it when you say, it's a Darwin box agent. No, I'm in flesh and blood. I wish the super agent had my persona. If any of the co-founders are listening, that's a joke. So yeah, see, there are several aspects. I think the first and foremost is, what's the predictability. One of the things which I can ask everyone to look at is the way your Google search changes, the way a GPT response changes, is it varies from location to location and the time when you're answering that. You cannot afford that in an enterprise, right? You want consistency and predictability of answers, right? Data privacy and bias mitigation come in at the next level, right? It's your organization data. It should not get exposed to any of the models. So, your AI, LLM gateways are important. Homegrown LLM models are important to really establish that trust. The other aspect which we're seeing come through very clearly is the aspect of explainability, right? When a response comes, it's also important to know what's the rationale behind that response so that employees can start trusting that data. And last but certainly not the least, are the aspects of ethical guardrails, which drive trust, which means that any response which is coming through, it needs to align with regulations. It needs to be seeped into the compliance of the respective area or the applicable laws to the employee. Picture this, if you were to query an agent where a mandatory document is an Aadhaar card, but the response comes is more SSN oriented. That's where you lose trust. So that context becomes very important. So these are some of the parameters which really help build trust on AI, and these are really important because this is one area, particularly when we think of data residency, use of third-party models. These are concerns and very valid concerns which enterprises have today.
Yeah, to add on to what Vikrant said, that trust in any system within an organization, either you talk about technology or leadership or processes, it's the confidence that the system or the enterprise will deliver back to the people, right? If people are using it, then I mean, our customers are using it. So, which delivers accurate and reliable results, should operate transparently, swiftly, so the decisions are well understood across, and a function within a framework where human retains the responsibility and the oversight of it. I think that is what is going to help in bringing in the trust, accuracy, and reliability in the system. And when it is repeated and people observe that, experience it, the acceptance is very high.
That was a great point, Chetna. And I think what will make or break the adoption of AI going forward would be this trust factor, how much you can trust these systems. And with this, we come to the end of this very important, very engaging discussion. Thank you very much for being so open, being so candid. Uh, I would like to thank our incredible panelists for such a thoughtful and candid conversation and for shedding lights on how AI super agents are reshaping the HR landscape, how it comes boils down to the leadership, how your insights into building trust, driving change, and the practical realities of integrating intelligent technologies have truly enriched our understanding of the future of work. And to our engaged audience, thank you very much for your participation and curiosity. We hope today's discussion has sparked new idea and provided meaningful takeaways that you can bring back to your organizations. As we move forward, let's continue to embrace innovation while keeping people at the center of our strategies. Wishing you all the success as we navigate the exciting journey ahead with AI-powered teammates. Until next time, thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Varun. Thanks, Chetna.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you both.
everyone.